Hi, I'm Cassandra Turner and I'm the interiors expert at Rescue, and today I am so excited to be here with the dynamic duo from Scotland, but from all over the world really in terms of what you're doing. Colin and Justin, thank you so much for being here.
Brilliant intro, my word.
So excited.
I love that. It makes it sound like the Beastie Boys, doesn't it? We're kind of intergalactic.
Intergalactic. I mean, you are. You're interior designers. You're commentators on the red carpet. You're basically lifestyle gurus. I mean, is there anything that you don't do?
That's a really good question. We've been so fortunate. We have an opinion, and we're not slow at coming forwards. And we've been really lucky that actually there's a lot of people who want to listen, who want to get involved. And actually, I think the secret of our success is I don't think we're too scary. I mean, we're quite scathing sometimes. We're very honest. And I think that's the Scottish thing. And actually, I think that's what Aussies like about us, because you Aussies, you say it like it is.
We do.
You just come right out and say it. And that's always been our defense. If we're in someone's home, we're having a bit of a critique and people go, "Oh, I can't believe you were so awful to that person." They go, "Well, did you agree?" Yeah, we totally agreed.
And how does that go? I mean, how do you find that people respond to you when you go into their homes and say, "Get me out of here"?
Well, do you know what? We have an ambition, and that ambition is really simple. We want to make ordinary homes extraordinary, and we want to turn just what we find into ultimate dreams. And people understand that we know best, and that's not meant to sound too big-headed, but we're in charge, and we've been doing it for long enough that we know exactly what we're doing. And our big mantra is this: there are only two types of taste in the world: really good taste, which is ours, and bad taste, which is everybody else's. So I take my tongue out my cheek at that particular juncture, but no, we love what we do, and we've been doing it for the best part of 2 decades across the world. We started off in Scotland, we moved into England, we moved across to Canada and North America. We've done shows in France and Spain. We've broadcast in a total of 35 or 40 countries. But our big ambition for the moment is to get our little Scottish fingers into Australia. And we've been doing some preliminary filming, and it's gone really well with The Living Room on Channel 10.
Yes.
And we did a search via social media for Australia's daggiest homes, and boy did we find them.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what you've done with them. I mean, we love you guys from Colin and Justin's Home Heist. I know you've got so many other shows that you've done. What's next for you guys? I hear that you've got something coming up that's very special. The tables have been turned on you. It's not all about other people. And it's got something to do with bringing back the bush, which is something that we discuss a lot in fashion and beauty.
Yeah, I mean, I think our big thing is, can we embrace the bush? It's bizarre. We were doing a show called Cabin Pressure. I don't know, I think we had the call of the wild. And a couple of years ago, we decided to buy a log cabin in the frozen north, something you lovely Aussies will know nothing about.
Nothing
We
at all.
are talking about temperatures that might reach minus 40.
Right. Well, today it's about plus 30.
Yeah. So temperature shift of 70 degrees
correct.
for us.
Outrageous.
Wow.
But so we bought a log cabin up there and decided to make a TV show about being Scots in the Canadian wilderness. And it went really well. And actually, we just sold that house, so we bought another one. And this time, we're doing a kind of mid-century monochrome. We're very Scandinavian in this new house, and it's a really small house. So, I mean, our message is always trying to get design to be democratic. Trying to make it achievable to most people. And so we loved the challenge of this small house, and it's great to be in the middle of nowhere, but tackle a little shack like it's a condominium, like it's an apartment in the city.
Sure.
So we've used loads of space-saving ideas, lots of glass wherever we can, taken the walls out, glazed them over, so that we feel that connection with the great outdoors. So
Beautiful.
it's the second season of that broadcast in Canada from the middle of March.
Great. Now, let's talk about interiors. I know you guys love colour, and I know that you've got a background in psychology. And I, as a designer, believe very much in the psychology behind spaces and environments, and how a person can feel so different when they walk into a space that looks different. How do you bring that into what you do, and what changes do you see with people when you've change their homes.
Okay. One of the things I find really underlines your average homeowner is that they're never completely comfortable with the environments they've created. And oftentimes it takes creatives such as yourself or ourselves to come in and fix homes. And when we get the balance right and when we improve the way the home functions and feels, not just looks, but functions and feels, then that's when those people start to feel grounded and start to feel centered in their space. I studied psychology at Glasgow University before I moved into design. And I have a full understanding, I think, of what makes people tick. And we've used that trait, some of my experience, combined with Colin's business skills, to make the very, very best of every home that we challenge. And we always bring it back to our big, tried and trusted mantra. It's not how much money you spend, but it's how you spend it that makes all the difference. And good design is a symptom of good shopping. Bad design is an observation of poor retail experience. It's all about thinking about what you do, how you shop, and what you're going to create that will give you the results you need.
Now, speaking of money, what about people that don't have the money to do a whole makeover on their house? I mean, what would be your expert advice in regards to that? What's the top sort of tips that you could give us to change a space without going out and spending a whole lot of money? Because the reality is these days we don't all have that kind of cash.
Yeah, and the thing is, people are scared because they don't know where to start. You know, that's always the thing. Okay, we have all of this. Maybe it's inherited furniture. Maybe it's their parents' house. You know, there's things that happen to people where suddenly you're living your life in somewhere that's not representative of you. You just got to draw a line. You know, you're going to draw a line in the sand one day and say, okay, this is the day we're going to tackle transforming the rest of our lives. And at that point, you should get rid of things that are broken, things that you just don't use, things that you despise. You know, actually clear these things away because you're never going to use them. You know, you don't like them, get rid of them. And then it might be that you end up with a core of items that you think, well, actually, you know, that's still quite sturdy, or I still quite like the shape of that. Maybe I don't like the color, but maybe that will suggest a look. Or maybe you think, okay, if I buy one key piece, you know, always invest in comfort. You know, you want to spend as much as you can on the bed, on the sofa. Maybe you buy that sofa and you go, okay, that's my key piece, and that old table, I'm going to paint that. Or I'm going to rough it up, I'm going to sand it down, go for a shabby chic look. But then you're going to use the old pieces, but rather than use them in isolation, put them together so they actually contribute. You know, we always talk about design being words. You know, it's different words, and what you have to do is string them together to form sentences.
What we find is that everybody wants an education, whether you're a hotelier, whether you're a shopper, a designer, a shopkeeper, a homeowner, whomever. I mean, one of the things that we're doing in Australia on this trip is seminars at the Reed Gift Fair and also the Life in Style show.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, you're going to come along and see us?
Absolutely, I'm going to be there.
Oh, good. Well, those shows, obviously, they're considered centres of excellence for anything that pertains to the retail industry, particularly. And we always think that if you create, I mean, we've done many shops, we've designed many hotels. We think if you get the retail environment right, then you impact so positively on the amount of products you sell. And let's be honest, we're opening the doors of our shops not just to look pretty. We're opening the doors of our shops because we want to sell. And that's our big remit. How do we allow anybody, no matter where they are, whether hotelier, shopkeeper, homeowner, cafe owner, bar owner, how do we get them into a position where what they have is the best it can possibly be to attract most interest? And that's why, I mean, I really relish the prospect of the two shows at the weekend, because I know there's a real appetite in the retail sector in Australia to beautify, because this is, let's face it, one of the most beautiful countries we've ever had the very good fortune to work in. And Australia's really stylish. You know that. I don't need to blow smoke up anybody's ass here. This is a really stylish country. And Sydney, Melbourne, all the cities that we've been visiting, time after time, all of them, they're just so on the money in terms of fashion forward.
Well, I think we love style and we love following fashion. And that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, with everything that we've just talked about, do you guys follow trends? I mean, could you upcycle a product and think, I could move this into this trend? Or do you think that trends are not right to be followed if you just have a piece that doesn't fit into it.
You know, I think it's like fashion, isn't it? It's like clothing. You know, you're not going to walk down the street in kind of like couture from the catwalk, but you might pick up elements, you know, where you think, okay, I like that color, or like the feel there, the mood there. You know, I think it's good to be aware of fashion, and it's good to move with the times, because your home should be organic. It just shouldn't be static, you know, so you should be always improving. It's almost like, it's like the Sydney Harbour Bridge, you know, it's like you're painting it. It's never going to stop. You're going to keep painting. You want that kind of feel at home, and that comes from being aware of fashion. Of course it does.
Yeah.
But we're not saying to people that you should throw everything out, but exactly what you said there. Maybe there's a key trend that comes up, and it's the thing that actually, like an arrow in your heart, goes shoo, and you go, I'm that person. That's exactly what I've been looking for. That is the route map to home heaven that I've been waiting for. And then you will ask yourself that question, okay, does that table fit in there? Can I make that piece in there? Maybe you'll actually move things from one room to another. You know, sometimes that could be something you do. Change the orientation of a room.
Changes the energy.
Makes a huge difference, you know, and we hate the idea that someone will go into a house and they just move into somebody else's life. You know, where they don't think, okay, well, would we use this in the evening? Is this more of an evening room? Is it closer to the garden? Do we need a TV in here? They ask all these, they should actually ask these kind of like questions that then will plot out who they should be at home, you know. So sure, get into fashion, follow fashion, but only if it then sets the tone for the rest of your life.
I mean, could it just be a colour? Could it be colour from this season that you decide to kind of run with?
Yeah, just not the Pantone shade.
Yeah, without a doubt. Pantone shade at the moment is Marsala, and it's just not a great one. Anybody from Pantone watching, I can only apologise for what I'm about to say.
Sorry, Pantone.
It looks like gravy. And gravy's all very well in your roast beef, but do you want to paint your walls with it? Maybe an accessory or two, but for the love of God. I mean, they did Tangerine Tango, gorgeous. They did that beautiful emerald green, lovely, but I think whoever was doing that Pantone shade that day was drunk when they planned it. Sorry, there, I said it. But colour's really important, you know, it's critically important. Colin and I, as well as our projects where we renovate other people's homes, have flipped perhaps 35 properties.
Right.
We've bought really rough diamonds and we've polished them. In fact, we've bought lumps of coal and polished them. And taken chicken poo and made chicken pie. That's what we do every time.
Love it.
And we love what we do. I mean, as much as we can be noisy and flamboyant and over the top, we're really structured and measured businessmen. And we know what it takes to make a home less than ordinary and attract the biggest price for it. And we'd always counsel that it's down to planning. And to fail to plan is to plan to fail. You really have to think about what you're doing. And if you go in blindfolded, then your room will look like you've done it blindfolded. You have to be in a position of power. And to come back to your question about colour, yeah, colour can affect the way that people behave, perform and feel in a home. So therefore the logic says that the best will be taken by a buyer if they feel good in the environment you've created, and oftentimes the colour is relevant. So it's all about theatre, it's all about home theatrics.
Absolutely.
And creating an environment that has the lifestyle to suit the market that you think is going to want to buy it.
Do you think that we use colour differently here in Australia to what Europeans do?
We certainly did in the living room this week, which you'll see in March. Oh my goodness, we did some seriously high-end pat decor.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I think the light is so good in Australia, and we see a lot of modern buildings that in Europe would just be grey or glass, but you guys tend to add huge kind of like colour additions. You know, so there's kind of like colour bars or an arc or some other kind of play with colour, and they're big, bold, primary colours. We love that, you know, I mean, you've got the light, the colour is true and gorgeous, so why not use it? You know, I think our disappointment, and it's always a disappointment, is that we go to these centres of excellence and style, and it's very contained, you know, it's kind of in the centre, and we're always looking for the ripple effect. You know, I want to feel like style's a stone that you throw into the water, and I want it to ripple out into the burbs. I think that's our obsession. We want to sex up the burbs.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me, what's next for you guys? Like, after this trip, what's happening?
Okay, so we're in Australia for the next couple of weeks, and then after that we go back to Britain and Canada to work on some projects over there. We do a number of lifestyle shows in Canada, some of which are our own eponymous shows, some of which are appearances that we make on other shows, like morning shows and such like. So we've got a really busy diary for the next couple of months. And then we're really concentrating in Australia because we love this country, and this is our third trip. We've planted a lot of seeds, and we hope that some of those seeds are now going to start to bloom and we'd like to come across to Australia for a good few months and do a whole new season of something.
We'd love
So that's
you.
our big plan. If you guys in Australia are ready for the Colin and Justin impact, for the designer atom to be split, then gird your loins, because we create a lot of noise, but by God, we have your interests at best hard. That's what we want to do, so we're going to come across here. We're also working on the proposal for our 4th book. We've done 3 books already, hence the fact that it's our 4th that we're working on. And
Very
You're good at mathematics.
I'm very good. Statisticians
So
can sleep
fabulous.
safe. We're doing our 4th book proposal at the moment, and we have a line of home product with a TJ Maxx group of companies in North America. So we design bedding, linens, we set crockery,
I have seen
artwork,
that.
tableware.
I mean, do you sleep?
Well, we did sleep once in 1983 for about 10 minutes, but that was it. That was
Well,
really
look,
it.
guys, thank you so much for being with us. We truly hope that you do come back and spend some time here. We would love to see you again at Rescue, but have an amazing rest of your trip.
Oh,
Thank
cheers.
I'll be seeing you at Life in Style and Red
Okay.
Gift Fairs.
Oh, we're looking
and
forward to that.
have an amazing time.
Oh,
Thank you
cheers.
so much for being here.
And anybody can find us on Instagram. We're Colin and Justin on Instagram and Colin Justin on Twitter. So find us and follow us on our social media portals, and we'll keep you abreast and apprised of all our little stories.
Absolutely. But thanks for having us here
Yeah.
and allowing us
Justin,
to
thank you so
rescue
much.
Australia.
Thank you.
And we'd like to come across to Australia for a good few months and do a whole new season of something.
We'd love
So that's
you
our
to
big plan.
come
If you
here.
guys in Australia are ready for the Colin and Justin impact, for the designer atom to be split, then gird your loins, because we create a lot of noise, but by God, we have your interests at best hard. That's what we want to do, so we're going to come across here. We're also working on the proposal for our 4th book. We've done 3 books already, hence the fact that it's our 4th that we're working on. And
Very
You're good at mathematics.
I'm very good.
Yeah.
Statisticians
So
can sleep
fabulous.
safe. We're doing our 4th book proposal at the moment, and we have a line of home product with a TJ Maxx group of companies in North America. So we design bedding, linens, we set crockery,
I have seen
artwork,
that.
tableware.
I mean, do you sleep?
Well, we did sleep once in 1983 for about 10 minutes, but that was it. That was
Well,
really
look,
it.
guys, thank you so much for being with us. We truly hope that you do come back and spend some time here. We would love to see you again at Rescue, but have an amazing rest of your trip.
Oh,
Thank
cheers.
I'll be seeing you at Life in Style and Red
Okay.
Gift Fairs.
Oh, we're looking
and
forward to that.
have an amazing time.
Oh,
Thank you
cheers.
so much for being here.
And anybody can find us on Instagram. We're Colin and Justin on Instagram and Colin Justin on Twitter. So find us and follow us on our social media portals, and we'll keep you abreast and apprised of all our little stories.
Absolutely. But thanks for having us here
Yeah.
and allowing us
Justin,
to
thank you so
rescue
much.
Australia.
Thank you.